So welcome, Shobhana. Good morning. It's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Sangeeta. It's
Right. So
nice to chat with you too.
thank you so much. So I have some questions for you, and it'll be great if you can share your wisdom and insights on these. So in this technology-driven era, IT costs can be very significant for a business. So how can a business be smart and recover these costs so that the business gains out of it?
Very true. Typical CFO question. Okay, so actually, this is, I would say, define this as an era of actually transformation and with innovation and imagination. And at the pace which it is going, everybody at an individual level or at organization level is now having the capability to imagine and innovate, right? And therefore, you find it is not just in organization the need of high investments required in these initiatives, but also at individual levels. We never used to spend so much on IT at home, right? Now you spend on your mobile, you want to refresh it every 2 years, you need to put in the Wi-Fi, in fact, one Wi-Fi is not enough at home, and there is everybody demanding, right, given the kind of situation we are going on. So the increasing aspirations and the growth that organizations are looking at, there is so much possible in Industry 4.0, the CRM, online presence, all that AI, ML, analytics, robotics can do. So the investments is actually a huge, huge request within the organization. Now, how does one become smart about where you invest? Yeah. So it should be actually connected very strongly to the strategic goals of the organization. And however large the list is, this prioritization needs to be done in the context of the link to the strategic goal. How clear is the impact that to the business that it would bring in is thought through, and you have a clear visibility, fair visibility. You can't get 100% visibility, but a fair visibility of saying, hey, this is how it will impact my top line or my bottom line. And the third thing that I think, typically from my experience on this area, is that your implementation or being able to get the return should be somewhere about 1 year. Yeah, not 1 year. You even if you say, okay, it takes 1.5, 2 years, but your implementation should be done by around 6 to 8 months. You shouldn't take longer than that, because the longer you take, the rest of it in terms of obsolescence and the rest of it comes in, and then you are not really able to handle it. You will want to change, you want to go with the flow. So because the innovation is at such a rapid pace, this also needs to be taken care,
Right.
and that I will think are some three at least important things to do.
Sure. Awesome. So yeah, I think what you said is very important. The implementation should be done quickly. That's a very key thing aspect that you mentioned. Thanks for that. So apart from the one-time costs, many IT costs are also kind of recurring in nature. So how can these recurring costs be useful for the growth of the business?
Sangeeta, if you look at it, the investment goes for what? Either to innovate or to grow or to for your run business, right? Now, the innovate for innovation and growth, what happens? Okay, what we talked before, you prioritize, linked, etc. But every time when you invest into innovation and growth, it's very natural that your run will grow, your recurring cost will grow, because you need to maintain those systems, and you need to ensure that you continuously enhance the value of it. You can't just you need the refresh, and you need to take the maximum out of it. So like I said, if you're taking it 6 months for the invest I mean
Yeah.
So, Sangeeta, you were asking me about, the recurring cost. Now, the cost typically gets into either you are on an innovation mode or on a growth mode, or, it is basically the run. And as we keep on increasing on newer technologies and transformational journeys, the run cost is naturally also going to increase and as an overall cost, because anything that you invest on, it has a life at least of 3 to 4 years that we look at. And then there is the question of being maintaining the cost, right? And in with whatever you have invested in, how can you leverage more? And if you want to leverage more into your investment, then there is a recurring cost that comes onto it. However, the attempt should be that we keep reducing the run cost, and there are various mechanisms which we could adopt. But however, to prevent obsolescence, to give renewed life to the investments that you have done, a run cost will happen. And that, I would say, is like an hygiene factor. You need you need it to protect yourself, that whatever investments you have made, you actually leverage more and more out of it.
Sure. Yeah, I think yeah, leveraging more out of it is a key to see how the
Absolutely.
business can, yes, strategize on that. Sure. So with now most businesses are online, happening, especially post the pandemic, it's all happening online. So what are some of the best practices for a business to have an edge in the online selling space, especially with the help of IT?
Yeah, so there is tremendous happening in the digital space that one can use to keep your online presence, giving you the value that it is meant for. So if you look at it in terms of today, digital marketing, where it is something which is very key, and it's all possible in local languages. So if you look at it in terms of some of the statistics that say that in Indian language users on the internet is expected to reach 540 million by 2021, right? So, and if you really want to make your online presence better, then you need to go into for local languages. And then the second thing is is use mobile. Your online presence should be mobile enabled, which is what the most people would come in with. The other thing is, are you making it cashless, which has become, of course, it's grown with the UPI, and almost everybody today, thanks, I shouldn't say thanks to the state we are in, but the COVID has actually accelerated the whole thing. What we thought a digital online presence would be a challenge in a country like India, it might take a few years. Actually, it has happened in the last 6 months. So everybody uses the online payment method so easily, and that's something should be very simple. I mean, everybody is doing it, but we must make the user experience to be very fantastic, and connect with the basically in terms of how much of AI ML can be used in making the user experience very good. So the backend processes, the logistics, automation there, so that the whole, it's not that just allowing somebody to come and order, but being able to deliver, and the whole experience of this on the online should become very very very, very I should say cutting edge, and that's what the generation looks for.
Very valid. Very right. Yeah. So then, you have virus, you have ransomware, cyber security, dark web. I mean, the list is endless. So how can a business actually build robust IT systems?
Sangeeta, actually building a robust system, IT system, is a continuous journey. There's no that these are the things that I would do, and that with that it would become, because as much as you become smarter in your building your robust system, that much there is the world outside, or you call them dark or whatever, is waiting to see how do they become smarter than the way you have put it.
Yes.
So if you look at it in terms of India, they say recently, I think you must, I don't know whether you have seen it, they say India is the second largest country in the world which is worst hit in cybercrime. Right? So most companies are experiencing, either have experienced in one way or the other, some kind of breach that's happening. Many things doesn't come to the public because it affects your reputation and goodwill in the market. And most of the attacks are actually financially motivated. Now, among who attacked you, a number of things are there, which we read it all over the in the press. But let me tell you, one major source is also internal. It's also the internal employees sometimes misusing. And so therefore what's important is, have you put sufficient perimeter level controls, with tools like UTM, IPS, etc. Have you put in identity and access control in the organization, which is pretty robust, and you're continuously seeing that it is where it should be in the day's context. The second thing is in terms of the endpoint controls. Okay. Now, what business can do, what business needs to do. Every time you make an investment into technology, digital, IT, whatever it is, sufficient thought needs to be given from the security angle and security and in terms of protecting your brand and your image, etc. This is paramount important from the business point of view. It is not an IT job alone,
Correct.
right? And whether it is, people think, okay, it is the IT infrastructure. No, it is all about the every digital asset you have, being on the cloud. Everything has its associated risk, and we know there is nobody in today's the largest of largest company which has invested tremendously, whether it is the IT giants or in the Fortune 500. There's nobody who has escaped this. So it being that you need to have a risk assessment continuously and mitigation plan for it. So I would say four things. User awareness should be very strong. Educate the users all level about this. Few years back, people never took it seriously. Now it has not come to that IT systems, the central servers get affected. The breach is happening through your email, breach is happening through your account, and therefore people are becoming sensitive, and organizations to take a lot of efforts in doing that. See that your DLP classifications are dealt well. That is data leak prevention, in terms of, are you able to classify your documents, assets, in saying, hey, are they confidential, are they restricted, are they internal, or are they meant for public, and how do I classify it, and continuously do it every time you are into new strategies and in investments. You need to think through and say, what of this is very confidential, what is the data that I need to protect, and get them put into your DLP, so that it protects the organization against leak. Similarly, the information rights, who should access what kinds of rights should be provided. This, the business should participate. IT or digital teams cannot do it. It has to be co-created in terms of that list. Similarly, be part of the IT governance. I think so. These are the 4 or 5 things I think is very important.
Yes, I think very wonderful and very valid points. Thanks for sharing that, Shobna. So, a related thing is, what advice would you give a business from the data security perspective? I know you mentioned about the DLP. So, how can a business actually prevent these data leakages?
See, what one need to take is and take into cognizance is, just like technology, there's so much innovation, so many new transformational journey that is happening. Security is not a one-time investment. Security is a continuous investment. You will keep, as and more smarter people come on how they are able to hack your systems. There will be that many tools available which needs to be put in place to protect yourself. So it is not a one time activity. You will have to continuously invest into security. What you need to say, I think I said that before, but just to think, look at your policies continuously in the context of what's happening. Refine your policies, and ensure that your access controls that you give is based on the roles. Okay. Do not give what is okay. It is okay. Once upon a time we used to think whatever you give, it's all right, but it's not. You give him according to the role what he has to play. The other part is in terms of people, the people you hire. Be conscious of what is the kind of background check that has been done. Ensure their value systems. Well, these are how much will you protect? If somebody wants to today with the work from home and everything that is happening, and anything can be recorded on a mobile, send it on WhatsApp. So the means are very many. You cannot get 100% protection until your people who are there with you are people whom you have, ensured that they come with the right value systems. So I think that's also very important. Apart from paying attention to the tools and the investments and user awareness, is the people part of it.
Yes. Lovely that you brought in the people aspect as well. So I'm just curious to know, so do you as a CIO, do you keep, enhancing the awareness of the people on a periodic basis, and, how do you keep updating them on that?
Yeah, so I think that's very important, Sangeeta. Actually, you must keep what we do. We have various awareness programs done for them, and you will be happy to know that there are organizations which work just on the space of allowing you, helping you in creating awareness. Because the generation now is not just you come to a classroom session and you tell them, and that part is gone. They need it visual, they need it as small bits of information, interesting case studies that come in, etc. So there are organizations which also help you in actually creating the awareness across the organizations. Similarly, every time, so those are sessions which can be online, which can be participative, tied up also with it, with the business. So when you invest on awareness, is it giving me a return? So there are organizations who come and provide you services by saying, hey, I will do so many programs, and you will see that there is a prevention that is happening. Your kind of your logs will show lower in terms of any such breaches. And it is interesting to notice, because the moment our people are aware, they will not respond to an email which they think is suspicious. It goes into the head. Otherwise, the natural thing is, if somebody says, hey, you can earn so much money, they give you an ID which is similar to the name of your company or to your vendor, you don't pay attention. The more they are aware, they read their mail properly before doing any such transactions. So I think awareness, we do a lot of initiatives on that, posters, campaigns, and talking to people about it. When you're building applications, you talk all these ways. At the senior management, we keep saying or talking about the security when we do new investments. This create an overall awareness across the organization.
Fabulous. Yes, that was lovely. Thanks for sharing that. So, what is your take on robotic process automation, and how can a business actually leverage in that? And when should a business actually start considering RPA for its operations?
um, RPA, as I look at it, it definitely will grow in terms of the way it could be used. Because if you take organizations are in a continuous attempt to say, how do I do more with less? Okay, so how do I do more with less? Less people, I should be able to do more. With less investments, I should be able to do more. How do I leverage all my investments? And RPA can come out very, very strongly as a business case if you apply yourself in where there is repetitive job, where there are same things being done, the volumes are high, lot of time is wasted on it. You are an ERP organization, you have invested in ERP, but however still there is a lot of repetitive jobs that are happening. So there is a tremendous possibility in actually automating it. Because one, it will bring in much more productivity improvement. The quality will improve because the validations are better. The kind of, because it's an automated way of doing, and the logics and the algorithms gets built in, so it is far more error free if it is properly built. And there are a number of use cases that can go in. So you can actually have uh, as I mentioned, employee simple on supply chain. There are a number of use cases that can come in, on employee onboarding, HR systems, in terms of customer service. You can have very good use cases built in that area. Product categorization, classifications, validations, in the level of inventories and updations. So there are tremendous opportunity in that. And however, one should be careful when one does that, in seeing that does it give me the benefit. Don't do it for the sake of it. Do it because it gives value.
True, true. So does volume, is that an important factor that they need to consider before opting in for RPA?
Yeah, it depends at what stage you are. See, if you're making an investment in an RPA, you have a cost that comes in. So if you have already invested, then everything that is possible, if you do it, because you have already the break even is done, right? So then you put in more and more. It's okay. It's always good, and it will become a way of thinking in your whole setup, that you don't any repetitive job, small or big. You actually don't try to have human intervention. You try to work without human intervention. But initially, when you do your big cases, you look at large pieces so that you really see the benefit, and it has an impact in terms of truly doing more with less.
Got it. Sure. So, what should a business be wary of, especially with digital transformation, and what are the associated risks with it?
Okay, so if you look at it as I was mentioning earlier, it's all about opportunities and how you want to leverage technology to actually grab these opportunities for business growth. So what is very important is any digital transformational journey should have a clear business case linked closely to the strategic goals. It won't be short term, it would be the long term. You won't have the complete visibility of the path. You will uncover a lot of things as you go. But directionally and to a very great extent, you are able to say, yes, this will actually maybe disrupt the market. You're working on new business models. You're working on major transformation on your processes. You're bringing in simplification. You're actually working on improving your customer experience. You're improving your online presence, and a whole lot of things. So that is something very important. You can't do a large initiative just because you get fancied about it, and there will be a huge requirement in the organization, because as I said, unlike before, people are not wary of doing new things. Maybe over 10-15 years back, people, when you have to do new, there's so much about change management that was talked about. Today, change management is not a concern. People want to change. People want to do new different things, and they want to do what is latest. They want to use AI, they want to use ML, they want to use everything that is there. Why can't I be like any of the best organizations? I don't want to name them, but then that is the aspiration level, and so that's good. At the same time, from the finance point of view, investment point of view, one should be careful in saying, do what is most valuable to the organization in terms of its growth strategy, and it will give you a return. However, at the same time, I would say you should encourage, there should be some investments available to innovate smaller things, because then that experience doing POCs, building new things and experimenting, because you get ready to take larger initiatives. So a combination of that. The other risk, as I said, technology obsolescence is a risk. Your technology will go obsolete. Any technology, so you must see your vendor, evaluate the vendor, see that the technology and the vendor will survive for some time for the investment. As I mentioned, the data protection, the rest of it. So the most important thing is the risk regarding your brand and reputation. That's very important. What you do is done well, and it gives a great experience that even if it takes a little time, but it pushes you in the right direction for the organization.
Very valuable. Thanks for that. So, how should a business balance its IT cost along with financial efficiency? Because end of the day, it's all boils down to numbers. So, how is a good way to balance the two out?
So I would say, it's basically actually any investment you go, it is the value drivers, right? You must look at, will it actually bring in more revenue, or will it actually avoid certain costs? And whenever you make an investment, so the impact to the business is something very important. The other thing is in terms of I think I did touch upon it that if you have made the investment and it has come to the break even, you know what the break even is. And you've done that, then you should actually leverage what you have invested in to the maximum, to the fullest potential. Invariably, people just get off from saying, hey, we've done it and that's it. You move on to the next thing. But it's very important that the investment that you have reached the break even now, then leverage it further so much. And that's where I said even the run cost comes in, and it's worth it because that you're actually utilizing what you have to the maximum possible potential. The other thing is in terms of, whether it is a capex or an opex model, when you make decisions, be careful in and be watchful on saying, looking at what is it going to be on a 3 to 5 year TCO, and your payback, it should be studied very carefully. Will it give it to me in 6 months, or will it give me to 24 months? But I think the lesser the better, because the changes that is happening in the industry, technology industry, you have to get it earlier. um, I would say focus on what is low investment, okay, but high return. So when you have multiple journeys that you want to take, that becomes very, very, very important.
Sure. Okay. So, there is Internet of Things, AI, cloud storage, ML, rapidly changing technology. I mean, so many things with regard to technology, but how can a business actually keep track with all of these changes and then evaluate as to what is really good, the best, for the business, and then leave out whatever is not essential for them?
It is definitely, Sangeeta, very, rightly, it is a very big challenge because there's so much happening. And I said there's so much interest into all of them, and you want to do it all of them together. And as I said, mindsets have changed now. But it is important that you actually study the various analyst reports, understand these technologies, understand your organization's goals and journeys, and then look at it in terms of benchmarking too. You must benchmark against not just the same kind of industry, but different kinds of industry. So then it gives you a lot of insights upon how it could be applied in your industry, and you might be a lead player in utilizing technology that way. So benchmarking, understanding the technology, and also finding a strong innovative path for your own company is very important. Uh, Thought leadership workshops within the organization, design workshops, should be done in order to be able to get the best out of it, and then decide what is it that we would like to do. So as I said, it can't be done alone. Is my key thing is that you must partner with some of the best people to be able to get to leverage this, who have far more experience the first time when you get into a journey. Partnership with technology experts. I wouldn't say just technology. I would talk about business experts, consulting companies. Becomes very important to be able to leverage and plan which properly links to your strategic goal and invest into it.
So then, with the last question, which is, what are the best practices to improve the internal IT processes?
Okay, so fundamentally, in an IT company, there are lots of tools that you can use to actually make your own internal IT very efficient, run. Uh, what we do typically is we benchmark. We benchmark with other internal IT companies. We look at how they do run their processes, and we learn from each other. So we have a couple of organizations with whom every year, every other year we talk. They learn from us, we learn from them. So it's a mutually, I know, benchmarking on IT processes we do. The second thing is we have this advantage of actually very standard frameworks that are available. So you need to use these frameworks, and also go on to certifying yourself into that, because whether it's ISO 27001, ITIL, etc. So these help us to be really efficient and being best in class in the way we run IT. Um, And as I thirdly said, service desk, tracking your tickets, ensuring that your customer is happy, having the right key metrics, measures, tools is also very important. The
Awesome.
customer focus that is needed in an IT function is as important as it is in the way you service your external customer. So I think that culture that you should bring in, and that naturally you learn a lot from your own internal organization. When you see your sales and service functions, I you often quote about them. So when you see the way they work during the COVID, it is inspirational, and it gives us a lot of insight on what one can actually stretch ourselves to do a customer. In IT, of course, it's a common thing, because it's a 24 by 7, come rain, come cyclone, you need to work. But when you see the processes, the customer orientation of a lot of other functions also, you can learn a lot from them. So that's another way that internal IT can actually further become benchmark in the industry by learning from practices in manufacturing companies by itself.
Right. So I think IT can potentially be a very good business partner with the business.
Absolutely, you ought to be. In today, I think you cannot, as an organization, you cannot get the benefit of all that is happening in this space of technology if IT digital don't co-partner, co-create with business.
Right. Right. Sure. Yes. So thank you so much, Shobna. It was wonderful having you on the show and sharing such lovely insights on the IT perspective. I'm sure the viewers are greatly benefited watching you. So great again. Thank you so much, and I look forward to catching up with you soon. Thank you.